Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am your ever-friendly Pokeprof, and welcome back to Fascinating Fiction, where it's our 1-year anniversary! Do you think that Linkara would be upset that I took his celebration bit for a one-time gag? Nah, he probably doesn't think anything about it. But yeah, it's been 1 full year since we've started this YouTube channel, and we've done quite a few things on it. Though I've gotta apologize that we didn't have a full year worth of content. Turns out running a YouTube channel is a bit more time intensive than I realized, and I'm still now trying to ensure that I got a video out weekly for you. Hopefully I'll do better this year than I did last. That said, the fact that we're not doing Getting with the Program, the other show idea I had, probably goes a long way in fixing that. It took up way too much of my time and nobody really watched it. Probably because it wasn't your traditional reaction series. We might come back to it in the future, retool it, but we'll see how it goes. I was blown away, and I still am, about the highest watched video on this channel, the original Tenchi Muyo video, at over 9,000 views as of me writing this script. Insert your own Vegeta memes here. I still don't understand why people watch this video outside of Tenchi's apparent popularity that is still going strong. Enough so that the Tenchi Universe video is the next watched vid on the channel at over 600 views. Needless to say, yes, we will be covering Tenchi again. In fact, I am watching the GXP series right now so I can talk about it, because everyone was raking me over the coals for not mentioning the War on Geminar series, which yes, we will be talking about that as well. We've actually grown the channel rather quickly since I announced that we hit 100 subs a bit before Christmas. In a little under a month's time, we have gone up about half that again, and we're at 144 subscribers right now. That is insane, and I thank you all again. I can only hope that I've done a good job to entertain you, and I'll do my best to do so again in the future. Overall, 2021 was a wild ride for me being a serious YouTuber, and I can only hope that I'll be celebrating again in a year's time with you all. But then I came to the problem of what to cover for this 1-year celebration. I can't do what Linkara does and talk about the exact same series time and time again. While there's more than enough Transformers stuff to go around, my knowledge of the rest of the franchise is fairly thin when compared to Beast Wars and Transformers Prime. Trust me when I say I will talk about those series again, but it felt like an odd choice to celebrate the channel. Then I thought about doing an episode on one of the video games I've enjoyed in my past, but I've noticed that video game themed stuff doesn't exactly do super well on the channel. I'm not sure if this is because of the choices I've made with the subjects, or the fact that I'm labeled as a channel that's more about talking about anime, cartoons, and the like, but that would be honestly a guess at best. In the end, my thoughts came down on a movie that I loved as a child and I wanted to take another look at. One that, as I watched again, I'm honestly surprised was allowed to be a kid's movie, much less one that was rated G. It's a film that has action, music, and overall rather intense footage than you would think, but it's also completely expected when you got a film by Don Bluth. So let's talk about the movie I loved as a child, An American Tail. So before anything else, let's actually cover something that I think should be brought up. If your only exposure to An American Tail is its sequel, the CBS animated series, or the direct-to-video sequels, I kindly ask you to forget pretty much everything you know about them. None of these projects were helmed by Don Bluth, and the difference obviously shows. This isn't to say that the rest of the stuff that was made is bad or anything. The original sequel was something that I adored, but there is a clear-cut difference in quality and care here, and it all comes down to the fact that Don Bluth and his crew treat kids as actual people instead of just little kids that need to be entertained while their parents do something else. You can see this by the first 8 minutes of the film. We get introduced to a Russian Jewish family of mice known as the Mouskowitzes in the late 1800s and our main character, Fievel. After we see them celebrate Hanukkah for a bit, we get stories from the father, one about a giant mouse legend known as the Mouse of Minsk, and the other about America. The latter is kind of the heart and soul of the film, where the stories of America are told about how the streets are paved with cheese, and that no cats are there to harass all the mice. This is a parallel to how many immigrant families often viewed America, especially during this era of history, where they were told stories of how great it was compared to their own home countries, with each story growing how wondrous America really was. This is made even clearer when you realize that the cats are made to stand in for the Cossacks, both of whom attacked the homes of the humans and mice living there, destroying them completely. It's this event that leads into the journey towards America and the interesting flip-flop you'd see the film do throughout its runtime, where you get these moments of dark, depressing, and outright serious times, and they are put right alongside happy, cheerful, uplifting moments. I don't think anything shows this better than one of the few musical numbers of the film, No Cats in America, where several different characters go into detail about the sorrow they faced in losing family and loved ones. But there are no cats in America. Of course, we've got to have conflict to the movie, so Fievel goes out during a storm because of one of his father's stories about fish, and he's wanting to see more. Of course, this isn't any normal storm because apparently Poseidon is pissed as hell at this boat, and he's going to make sure that everybody knows it. It separates Fievel from his family, and that's the basis of the rest of the film, where he's trying to get back together with them. From this point onward, the film stops being about a single narrative, and instead we're bounced around a bunch of different events, from Fievel being sold to a sweatshop, to him being cared after by a streetwise mouse named Tony and his eventual girlfriend Bridget, to befriending a vegetarian cat named Tiger that was voiced by the late great Dom DeLuise, who was known for working on every single Don Bluth film outside of The Land Before Time. But as you progress through the film, you will definitely notice that bounce back and forth between happy, helpful moments and soul-crushing depression moments. Several points, Fievel is completely alone in the film, just so we can have his hopes rise up about finding his family, only for him to be proven wrong or get denied in the end. This is something of a bit of a trademark in a lot of Bluth's works, where several people have noticed that he will put you through the ringer emotionally, but will just about always give you a happy ending. The ending of the movie also shows this as well, where the mice make their own Mouse of Minsk thanks to Fievel suggesting the idea to get rid of the cats that were harassing them. Immediately after doing so, a fire starts up. See what I mean? We go from happy to all the crap hits the fan at once in the span of like a minute, if that. On the production side of the film, this was actually a collaboration between Steven Spielberg, Don Bluth, and Universal Studios, based on a concept by David Krishner. Wait a minute, why does that sound familiar? Wait, that's the same guy? The one I was talking about that was trying to claim sole authorship of the Pagemaster film? How in the bloody blue hell did I miss that? Well, apparently that's not the only thing I missed, since he's also worked on the Halloween Tree as an executive producer. I get it, I'm not the best when it comes to research, but this is a miss I wasn't expecting. Regardless, there was a lot of work behind the scenes in making this film. Such things as Fievel's name were actually in discussion, with Bluth feeling that the name sounded too foreign. This is why Tony actually gives our main character the nickname Philly partway through the film, as this was a compromise between Bluth and Spielberg. There was also apparently footage cut from the film, with there being more extensive scenes of Poseidon's fury and even more wave monsters than what we actually got. Considering the fact that that was terrifying enough as is, I'm with Spielberg on this one and say it was a good idea to remove more of it. Originally wanting to just storyboard the entire movie, the length of the script and the ideas that they had made this nearly impossible to do so. Often Bluth and Spielberg would be so excited and wanted to add more and more and more, until it eventually got to the point where they just had to start cutting things out. This was made even worse by the fact that Universal Studios also wanted to prove all the major work on the film, and even expected to view things daily, which slowed things down even more. This resulted in many things being cut from the film, including a planned song for Fievel when he was in the sweatshop, and the entire existence of Fievel's baby sister, who kinda just vanishes after the first 20 minutes of the film. I think one of the final things I'm wanting to mention about this wonderful yet very odd movie that is An American Tail is the song that people probably remember the most from the film, Somewhere Out There. While actually being designed for the movie itself, even sung by Fievel and his sister in the hopes of being able to see each other again, it was originally made to be a romantic love song. In fact, it did get turned into a romantic love song. One that was sung by professional singers Linda Ronstadt and James Ingram during the ending credits, and it's clear to anyone who listens to it what it was meant to be. Hell, back in the days when I was even more of a hopeless romantic than I am now, this was the song I would play on loop because it was the kind of song I could imagine falling in love to. This song was also a smash hit, apparently reaching number 2 in the United States, 6 in Ireland, and 8 in the United Kingdoms. It's something that I've still heard on the rare occasion I go out into this crazy planet we call Earth, playing on the car's radio. As a film, An American Tail was always something that held a special place in my heart. While I do consider Bluth's work on The Secret of NIMH to be overall superior, it was this and The Land Before Time that were my first exposures to what he's done and were something I grew up with. And while I tilt my head at some of the things within it now, mostly because of its mishmash nature, as well as the fact that there's just some stuff in there that I honestly would not put in a film for kids, it's something that I still enjoy to this day and would hold up as one of the best films of all time. It was a film that showed what it was like for immigrants of that era, the trials they had to go through, and it was all made into a film with music, mice, and the mouse of Minx. A wonderful movie to end out the celebration of our first year here on YouTube. And I hope you'll join us for the next year ahead, my friends. But until then, stay frosty.